minutes break and we'll start with extraoral radiography. Okay. Okay. So now we come to extraoral radiographic technique. Vast topic, but again, I'll tell you, smart reading is important. What is being asked, you remember that is more important rather than reading it every view in detail. So what questions are being asked? First question is, what are indications for that particular view that has been asked? Sometimes, rarely they will ask you the positioning. I have not seen the questions on positioning as such. So vice versa questions will be like, they will give you one indication. You have to tell which view is best suited for that. And the second questions are that they're giving you a view and you have to tell the main indication for that. Okay. So that is what, and identifying the view for image-based question, they will just give you a image and they'll tell you what view it is. So we will highlight basically on these 3 points and a little bit about positioning, right? So I'll be covering extraoral radiographic technique and TMJ in this particular part. TMJ imaging, okay? So first is the classification. Why it is important? Because you should know that which views are what plane views, right? So I think everybody knows you have 3 planes, right? So you have 3 planes, your coronal plane, sagittal plane, and transverse plane. Everybody knows that? Okay. So posterior anterior projections means posterior to anterior, right? So what is this? These are the projections which are called as occipital-frontal projection, occipital frontal projection. So they are anterior-posterior, posterior-anterior projections. They are in the which plane? Coronal plane, right? Everybody understood that there are coronal plane projections. So first is posterior-anterior, Granger's and Cadwell. They are 2 modified forms. Then you have sinus projections. So in sinus, you basically use occipitomental views. So that can be modified, Waters view, Bregma's mentum view. So for us, 2 are important, Waters view and Bregma mentum, that I'll tell you. Mandible. For mandible, you can go for rotated PA or most importantly, lateral oblique, body and ramus mandible, right? Skull, lateral ceph, PA skull, Townes projection, right? Base of the skull. So till now, most of these projections were anterior-posterior, and lateral oblique is a lateral or a sagittal projection. Now we come to base of the skull or submental vertex projection. It is a transverse plane projection. Why? Because we put it like this. So it is a transverse plane projection. I'll show you and it will be more clear. So it is a transverse projection. Lateral ceph, lateral oblique, they are lateral projections or sagittal projections. Your PA views, posterior anterior views, they are coronal projections. So zygomatic arches, this is a modified view of submental vertex called jug handle view, which is seen. So sagittal projections is lateral ceph, transverse projection is a submental vertex, coronal or frontal projections are Waters view, PA views, reverse Townes, they are coronal projections, oblique laterals, they are mandibular body. So sagittal or lateral are mandibular body and lateral ceph. Transverse is submental vertex. Other views are more or less coronal or frontal projections. Why I have discussed this? Because there was a question in which they asked you that submental vertex is what view projection. So you should know the answers were, the options were transverse, sagittal, coronal. So you have to know that. Okay. So, or they will ask you which of the following is a posterior anterior projection, which of the following is a lateral projection. So this you have to know. So what are the drawbacks of extraoral? I think indications we will discuss with each view. What are the drawbacks basically? So magnification. So similar to OPG, you have around 15 to 20% of magnification, right? Details are not very well defined. So definitely if I want a sharper image, I'll go with the intraoral view. Contrast is reduced. So these are the drawbacks. Landmarks, this we have already discussed. Mid-sagittal plane, this is A, which is a mid-sagittal plane, everybody knows. This is your infraorbital line, that is your C, outer canthus and canthometal line. Now this is important. The question is, canthometal line and Frankfurt plane relationship. Can anyone tell me what is the relation between canthometal and Frankfurt horizontal plane? No?
10 degrees.
Very good. So they form 10 degrees angle to each other. So what is canthometal line? It is a radiographic baseline. So the first question, which of the following is a radiographic baseline? So what is my answer? Canthometal, not Frankfurt. Which horizontal plane we use in OPG? Answer fast. Frankfurt horizontal plane. How much angle they form? So Frankfurt and Canthometer forms around 10 degree angle. It is an imaginary line joining the central point of external auditory meatus, external auditory canal to outer canthus. So this is your outer canthus and central point. And Frankfurt is a chorion orbital plane, right? So both form 10 degree angle. So Frankfurt is superior border. Shweta, please mute yourself. So line that connects the superior border to inferior orbital rim. So outer canthus to meatus is canthometal and this is Frankfurt. So canthometal forms a 10 degree angle with the Frankfurt, right? Is this clear? So our radiographic baseline is canthometal line. So now we come to the first radiograph, that is lateral ceph. I think everybody knows what is lateral ceph. Have you seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay. So it is which plane projection?
Sagittal.
So as you can see, yes, it is a sagittal plane projection. So image receptor, see this now. Imagine the picture and then try to remember. Where is the image receptor placed? It is on the lateral part, right? So we place it on the left side, parallel to the patient's. This is mid-sagittal plane. So image receptor is parallel to the mid-sagittal plane. So we want to minimize the distortion. So we basically take the left side. Patient's radiography, patient is placed. Basically, the receptor is placed on the left side. And for soft tissue, everybody knows that for Ceph, we also have a soft tissue landmarks. So just to see the soft tissue landmarks clearly, this is one extraoral projection in which a filter is placed. What filter? Wedge filter, right? So we place a wedge filter in Ceph. What else I have told you? It has to be placed on the left side, close to the lateral aspect, and the image receptor is parallel to the mid-sagittal plane. So for positioning, you have to remember 3 points. Where is the image receptor placed? Second is, where is the central X-ray directed, right? So, position of central X-ray. Now see this image. Can you see? It has to be perpendicular to the image receptor. This is a rule of radiology that your central X-ray should be perpendicular to the object and the film, okay? So you can see here, the central X-ray is 90 degrees or perpendicular to the mid-sagittal plane and to the image receptor, right? And where it is centered over the external auditory meatus. Very simple for lateral Ceph. Central X-ray is projected over the external auditory meatus, perpendicular to mid-sagittal plane and image receptor. 2 points clear? How the patient is positioned, how the central X-ray is positioned. So this is X-ray tube, mid-sagittal plane, parallel, we have placed the film, and from external auditory meatus, the rays pass and it becomes perpendicular. So there is a wedge, which is a filter. Why we require filter? To visualize the soft tissues better in lateral Ceph. So lateral Ceph projection technique. So you can get an image-based question in which you are given these kind of images. So you should know that this is giving you, can you see it is a lateral projection? So it is a lateral Ceph, right? So lateral Ceph. Now, exact superimposition of left. See now in the lateral Ceph, I can see that there has to be a superimposition of left and right side. So this is some disadvantage. You can say that sometimes the exact superimposition is. Everybody, please keep your mics on mute mode. So exact superimposition of right and left side is usually impossible. So structures, if this happens, structures on the left side, right, which are close to the image receptor are magnified less than the structures on far away. So that's why you can get some amount of discrepancy. So structures which are closer to mid-sagittal plane also show less discrepancy in size as compared to the structures which are away from the mid-sagittal plane. So this you have to remember some amount of limitation. So what is the indication? I think everybody knows the lateral Ceph indications, right? So orthodontic purposes, it is most commonly used for various skeletal, dental, soft tissue landmarks to generate measurements of craniofacial morphology and commonly used in dentistry, right? Is the positioning and central X-ray indications clear for lateral Ceph? Lateral Ceph is the easiest extraoral. So now we will shift to the more important, 3 are most important for you: water, submental vertex, and reverse terms. These 3 have to be on tips. Okay, so this is a lateral Ceph. They will just ask you what projection it is. Okay, so you have to remember that this is a lateral Ceph projection. Now we come to PA skull. What plane projection it is? Which plane?
Coronal.
Coronal or frontal? Right.
Frontal.
So if it is a coronal plane projection, the image receptor has to be placed in the front of the patient. So X-rays are coming from posterior. So that is why it is called as posterior anterior projection. Okay. So PA skull, it is called as occipitofrontal projection, or a frontal projection, or a coronal projection. So first point is image receptor, patient positioning, and second is central X-ray, image receptor. So as you can see, the image receptor is placed in front of the patient. Now tell me, is it parallel or perpendicular to mid-parietal plane?
Perpendicular.
So this is the image receptor and this is mid-parietal plane. So it is perpendicular to the mid-parietal plane. Okay. And in PA projection, canthometer line is perpendicular to the image receptor. So you have to just place the patient such that your canthometer line is also perpendicular to the image receptor. So if the patient is straight, your canthometer lines become perpendicular. So you can see here, it is also called as, if I want my canthometer line to be perpendicular, my forehead and nose should touch the image receptor. So this is called as forehead nose position. Okay, the patient is positioning facing the film, head tipped slightly forwards so that your forehead and tip of the nose, they touch the image receptor, called as forehead nose position. Radiographic baseline or canthometer line is right angles to the film. Is this clear? Image receptor positioning, patient positioning. Exposure parameters, mostly extraoral radiographs will show exposure of 65 to 70 kVp, 10 milliamperes, and depending upon the time, you can have ranging from 1 to 3 seconds exposure time. So central X-ray, where is the central X-ray directed? In the middle of the skull, so that the X-ray beam passes through canthometer line, perpendicular to the image receptor. So very easy. For PA skull, what is the main important line? Canthometer line. Canthometer line has to be perpendicular to the image receptor. For that, what you want? Your forehead and nose should touch the image receptor, and your central X-ray also passes through the canthometer line, perpendicular to the film plane. So what radiograph you get? See the positioning. Can you see the forehead and nose is touching? I'm again giving you the figure so that you remember this right now. Right? So from the canthometer line, your X-rays will pass directly through the canthometer line perpendicular to the image receptor. Your mid-sagittal plane is perpendicular to the image receptor and coronal plane is parallel. Okay? So this is the image which you get. An anterior frontal projection or a coronal projection. So I can see here, can you see the frontal sinuses? I can see the frontal sinuses, orbits, maxillary sinus, mandible, maxilla, and in this mid region, there is lots of superimposition. I can also see the petrous ridge, right? So these are the structures which can be visualized, indications. So basically, can you see it is showing you the skull vault? So if there is any pathology in the skull region, I can go for a PA skull. Can anyone tell me any skull opacities you see, any disorder, disease you can think of in which you can have skull opacities or radiolucencies?
Weber.
Okay, calcification of arc cerebelli. What else?
Basal cell
Multiple
carcinoma.
myeloma.
Okay, multiple myeloma, multiple punched out radiolucencies. Or cotton wool appearance.
Disease.
Paget's disease. So if there is any trauma, primarily I can see the frontal bones and the jaws and the skull. Trauma, I will go for PA. Facial bones for evidence of trauma. Frontal sinuses and conditions affecting the skull or cranium. Paget's disease, multiple myeloma, hyperparathyroidism showing you ground glass appearance. Intracranial calcifications like basal cell nevoid syndrome, Sturge-Weber syndrome, right? Or facial growth and development. So these are the indications. Clear? So next is one modification. This could be MCQs for your aims and everything. So they ask you some higher things. So what is Caldwell projection? So we call it as inclined PA, right? Inclined PA. So basically we are directing the central X-ray through an inclination. So we call it as Caldwell or inclined PA. What is the significance? The Basically, if I want to examine my orbits and ethmoidal cells, I will go for an inclined PA. So it orbits and ethmoidal cells. Why? Because the petrous ridge is not superimposing, is superimposing on the maxillary sinus, and I can clearly see the orbits and ethmoidal areas. So here you can see the central X-ray. Okay, who will tell me where is the central X-ray is normal PA?
On perpendicular. Anthometal line.
Right, so it is along the canthometer line perpendicular to the,
Perpendicular to
but here I can see it is 23 degrees to the canthometer line, right? So entering the skull about 3 centimeters above, this is your external occipital protuberance, right? Can you see the protuberance? So 3 centimeters above the protuberance and exits the glabella. So we call it as Caldwell projection. 23 degrees angle, external occipital protuberance 3 centimeters above, exiting the glabella. This is Caldwell projection. What is the significance? I can see orbits and ethmoidal cells. Why? Because my petrous ridge is going out to the sinus or superimposed over the sinus area, so can clearly visualize orbits and ethmoidal cells. So my question is, which view is used for visualization of orbits and ethmoidal cells clearly? So my answer will be Caldwell projection. Next important, which I've told you, the 3 most important ones. What is view? What plane projection it is? Again, coronal projection.
Coronal.
Coronal projection. Okay. So can you see the film is placed in the front of the patient, right? So now we come to the image receptor. Image receptor is placed like this, perpendicular to the mid-striatal plane. Now we come to the patient positioning. So what is touching? Chin. So it is called as chin touch position. What does view whenever comes to your mind? You have to remember chin touch. Second thing, what you have to remember is open mouth. But open mouth is only when I want to see sphenoidal sinuses. Okay. So image receptor is in the front of the patient and perpendicular to mid-striatal plane. The patient is such that the head is tilted upwards. So I tilting the head upwards, as you can see here. See, the head is tilted upwards, the chin is touching. So here, canthometal line forms an angle of 37 degrees with the image receptor, that you have to remember. What does view? Abhi tak I have told you 3 points. First is chin touch position, canthometal line forming an angle of 37 degrees with the image receptor. And if I want to see the sphenoidal sinuses, I will go for an open mouth. Clear? Patient positioning, image receptor positioning clear. What is the third point? X-ray, central X-ray, right? What is the other name for Waters projection?
PNS view.
Chin touch.
PNS view.
PNS, okay. Paranasal sinus view. What else? Someone said it right. Occipitomental view. So this is 37 degree occipitomental, that is Waters view. Okay. Why 37 degree? Canthometer line is forming a 37 degree angle with the image receptor. Clear? Central X-ray. So see this. What is this? 37 degree angle with the image receptor, canthometer line. What is the central X-ray? Central X-ray has to be perpendicular to the image receptor. So where it is entering, it is a paranasal sinus view. So very easy to remember, the central X-ray is perpendicular and centered in the sinus area. Which sinus? Maxillary sinus. So central X-ray is perpendicular to the image receptor, centered in the area of maxillary sinus. If I want to be more peculiar, I will say it is directed 90 degrees to the midpoint of the film. Enters from the skull and exits the acanthion, centered over sinus. So what word is important? Acanthion. Clear? So this is the Waters view. I'm repeating it again. Film is placed in front of the patient. The head is tilted backwards of the patient, upwards like this, so that the chin touches the image receptor. The canthometer line forms an angle of 37 degrees. If I open the mouth of the patient, you will have clear view of sphenoidal sinuses. It is also called as occipitomental view. Waters view is 37 degree occipitomental. And the other thing is that central X-ray has to be directed in the area of maxillary sinus. It is entering through the skull and it is exiting the acanthion over the maxillary sinus perpendicular to the image receptor. Clear? So this is the view. I can see the frontal sinuses, I can see the maxillary sinuses, and if there is open mouth, I will be able to see the sphenoidal sinuses. Okay? Indications. Very easy. दो चीजें याद रखना है, Lefort and sinus. 2 words for Waters view. So diagnosis of pathological conditions affecting air sinuses, especially maxillary antrum or maxillary sinus. Lefort 1, 2, 3 fractures, zygomatic fractures or orbital fractures. Okay. Then nasoethmoidal complex. This area you can see here. See this nasal area. So nasoethmoidal complex area. Investigations of frontal and ethmoidal sinuses. Sinuses, every sinus will come. Frontal, ethmoidal, maxillary, sphenoidal. Sphenoidal sinuses ke liye we need to have a open mouth position and coronoids. Clear? There was a question in NEET in which they asked which of the following views cannot be used for coronoid fractures. Some people marked this Waters view. So please remember, Waters view, you are able to see some amount of coronoid process. So coronoid fractures is one of the indication. Clear? So I'm again repeating: maxillary antrum, frontal sinus, ethmoidal sinus, open mouth sphenoidal sinuses, nasoethmoidal complex fractures, zygomatic orbits, Lefort 1, Lefort 2, Lefort 3. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
you can see all the sinuses here. Okay. So chin touch position, nose is 1 inch away from the image receptor. X-ray unit is here. The central X-ray is directed over maxillary sinus, exiting the acanthion. The acanthometer line is 37 degrees. Clear? Waters view. So this is identify the view. So you have to identify इसमें sinus दिख रहा है. So many sinuses are visible, right? So air spaces. Waters view. So Waters view is 37 degree occipital view. You have one modification which is 0 degree occipital. So basically, it raises the facial bones, so you can see facial bones more clearly in this view. Head is tipped, radiographic baseline is 45 degree. Rather than 37 degree, the radiographic baseline is 45 degree, and this is called as nose chin touch position. We do it such a way that your nose and chin touch the image receptor. Waters view is chin touch position. Okay? 0 degree occipitomental is nose chin touch position. Central X-ray is directed through the occiput, here only, directly through the occiput. What is the difference? That it drops the dense bones of the base of the skull downwards and raises the facial bone. So I can see the facial bones more clearly. So if I want to go for a Lefort 1, 2, 3 fracture, I can go for occipitomental 0 degree. Nose chin touch. Okay. Third modification is bregma ventum view. As the name is telling you, what is bregma?
And the anterior fountain.
Okay.
Anterior fontana.
Very good. So it demonstrates the walls of maxillary sinus, especially posterior area. So if I want to see the posterior region of maxillary sinus, I will place the film here, right? So I am placing the film here. Can you see this? Right? So film is placed below the chin. Okay. Now, what is the main indication? To demonstrate the walls of sinus, especially posterior region, zygomatic arches and septum. So cassette is in a horizontal position over the metal table and the chin is extending as far as possible. Okay. So this is your mid-striatal plane, which is perpendicular. Chin is extending so that lower border is parallel to the cassette. Clear right now? Now we come to the central X-ray. So central X-ray is the bregma menton view. So it enters the bregma. So it enters the bregma and exits the menton. So that is called bregma menton view. Why? What you have to remember? Central X-ray is directing through the bregma, exiting the menton. What is the main indication? If I want to see the posterior walls of maxillary sinus, that is the main indication. Here the cassette placement is different. The cassette is placed below the chin or in a horizontal position, and the lower border of the mandible of the patient is parallel to the cassette. So this is bregma menton view. Sinus view only, right? So if I want to see maxillary sinus, I can go for bregma menton. So I told you 3 views. 37 degree occipitomental is Waters view. That is which touch? chin touch position. Then I told you 0 degree occipitomental, which is
Nose chin.
nose chin touch position. Then I told you Bregma-Menton view, which is basically for posterior walls of maxillary sinus, and it is horizontal placement of the film below lower border of the mandible. Clear?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now, who will tell me the indications for Waters view?
Coronary fracture, ethmoidal fractures, lip fracture,
Very sinus.
For viewing all the sinus.
Very good. So all sinuses, then Leaford 1, 2, 3, nasoethmoidal complex, coronoid. ठीक है, इतना याद रखेंगे, so everything is okay. Okay. So now we come to the next radiograph. Can anyone tell me what radiograph is this?
Submental vertex.
Very good. So why I'm showing you this? These are the image-based questions which you get. Identify the radiograph. So you should know submental vertex. So how can you identify it? Submental vertex is what kind of projection? Which plane?
transverse plane.
Transverse plane.
Transverse plane. So it is a base of skull projection, right? So can you see the base of the skull here? I can see here foramen magnum. So if I can see base of the skull, a transverse projection, it is submental vertex. Okay. So now we're coming to submental vertex. See this now. So why it is transverse? Because you can see that film plane, the head is extended backwards so that I can get a transverse image of the area. So image receptor and patient positioning, it is parallel to the patient's transverse plane, perpendicular to the midsedatal plane. So for this view, the neck is extending as backwards as possible. Can you see this? The neck is extended backwards. Now the canthometal line forms an angle of 10 degree with the image receptor. Clear? Canthometal 10 degree, neck is extended backwards and film is placed parallel to the transverse plane. This is my transverse plane. Okay. So I have placed the film parallel to my transverse plane with the neck extended as far as backwards as possible. Now, can you tell me this view is contraindicated for what patients? I'm telling you the neck is extending so backwards. Cervical patients. Right. So this was again a question. So you have to remember, I will not do this for that. Right. So now central X-ray, where is the central X-ray directed? So it is perpendicular to the image receptor. That is the basic rule. But from where? So it is from below the mandible. Right. So it is below the mandible, centered towards the vertex. So this is the highest point of the skull. That is the vertex of the skull. So 2 centimeters. Now, if I talk about in terms of condyles, it is 2 centimeters anterior to the line connecting right and left condyle. So this is what you have to remember, right? So central X-ray is perpendicular to the image receptor. First point, that is okay. Then where it is directed? From below the mandible. Okay. Where it is centered, it is called as submental vertex. Vertex. So it will exit where? Centered over the vertex. Okay. So and in center where it is, that it is 2 centimeters anterior. If I connect a line right and left condyle, 2 centimeters anteriorly, my ray will pass, right? So 2 centimeter anterior to connecting left condyles, and it is directed towards the vertex. So this is your mental region. So below the mandible, that is, it is called as submental, right? Submental. So below the mentum, that is submental, exiting the vertex, skull, right? So that is why it is submental vertex, right? Easy to remember? Okay. So next is, and I told you the exposure time, mostly it remains between 1 to 2 seconds, 3 seconds. If I underexpose, right? If I underexpose, that is a modified submental vertex. How much underexpose? 1/3 the exposure. Everything remains the same. Positioning, everything is same. I just reduced my exposure to 1/3 and I can visualize the zygomatic arches clearly. See this? This is a zygomatic arch. So if I want to see the fractures of zygomatic arch, I will go for a modified submental vertex, which is called as jug handle view. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything same with a 1/3 exposure, called as jug handle view. The main indication, fractures of zygomatic arch, right? So indications of submental vertex. So I've told you it is a base of skull projection. So base of skull is visualized. S for submental vertex, S for skull, S for sphenoidal sinuses, and P. So 2P you have to remember, palate and pterygoid region. So I've showed you a picture in which palate was. See this. Can you see the palatal area? Right? So palate, pterygoid, skull, base of skull, and here I can see sphenoidal sinuses. I'll show you that. So palate, pterygoid, base of skull, sphenoid, and fractures of zygomatic arch, that is for jug handle view. That are the indications. See this now. Palatal area, right? See that these are the plates. These are the pterygoid plates. So I can see the pterygoid plates. And this is the area where I can see the sphenoidal sinuses. And this is the foramen magnum, right? So foramen magnum, can you see this part? Okay. So this is the spine ka area, shadow of cervical spine and the occipital condyle of the spine. Foramen magnum, even I can see foramen ovale, foramen rotundum, foramen spinosum. Spinosum and ovale I can see. So base of the skull projection. So how can you identify? If in a radiograph I'm seeing the foramen magnum, I can see this kind of a mandible with the palatal area, sphenoidal sinuses, foramens, rotundum, ovale and spinosum. This is a base of skull projection, submental vertex. Indications: palate, pterygoid, base of skull, sphenoidal sinuses, and zygomatic arch. Right? So here is the zygomatic arch. Right? So can you see this area, zygomatic arch? So this is seen when I underexpose it 1/3, and that becomes a jug handle view. Repeat again. Transverse plane projection. The film is placed parallel to the transverse plane of the patient. The neck is extending as far as backwards as possible. Central X-ray is directed from the submental region towards the vertex of the skull. It passes 2 centimeters anterior to a point connecting the right and left condyles. Clear?
Yes.
So identify the view. Can you identify this now? Submental vertex. What is this? Jug handle view.
Jug handle.
Modified submental vertex with 1/3 exposure. Right? Now, few MCQs from this till what we have done. Canthometer line forms an angle with a
37
40
degree.
37 degrees.
37 degree.
Answer.
Zygomatic arch.
Zygomatic arch.
Okay. See, these are so simple questions which are being asked. So please do not confuse. Very important topic. There is 99 to 100% chance you will get a question from extra-oral. Very simple questions these are. Identify this view.
Yeah.
This is no PA. Can you see it is elongated PA? Okay, this is elongated PA.
Reverse down.
Reverse.
So how to identify it is not PA? See, the mouth is open, right? In PA, I haven't told you that the mouth is open. So it is looking like elongated PA. Why? Because the mouth is open. So this is called as reverse stance view. The main indication, see the condyle? So neck condylar, neck fractures, main indication, right? So reverse down is very important. It is an open mouth. So that is why it is elongated PA. Image. So it is what kind of projection? Coronal projection. Very good. So image receptor is placed in front of the patient, perpendicular to the mid-parietal plane. Patient head is tilted downwards. In Waters view, the patient head was tilted
Upwards.
upwards. That was chin touch position. And this is forehead touch position. Now I'm repeating. Chin touch position, Waters view. Forehead touch position, reverse stance. Forehead and nose touch position is PS. And one more position I told you. Nose chin touch position. What is that?
Occipital 0 degree.
Very good. 0 degree occipital. Clear as sabko. Okay. So patient's head is tilted downward. So here the canthometer line forms a 25 to 30 degree angle, right? 25 to 30 degree angle with the image receptor. Now, to improve the visualization of condyles or open the mouth, this is an indication for condylar neck fractures. So I want to see the condyles properly. I will open the mouth. Condyles come out of the eminence or they move. So that's why you will do this radiograph in an open mouth position to visualize the condyles properly so that your condylar heads are located inferior to the eminence. Central X-ray. It has to be perpendicular to the image receptor that everybody knows. So where it is centered at the level of condyle. So I opened it. I will center the X-ray at the level of condyles perpendicular to the image receptor. Very easy. Central X-ray, because it is an indication for condyle. So the central X-ray is directed through the condyles. Clear? So I have already told you that forehead touch position, open mouth. The canthometer line forms an angle of 25 to 30 degrees. Central X-ray is directed through the condyles and you get this kind of image. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the image which you get. This is a white and ferro picture, so I have put it. So sometimes they just take the picture from a book and ask you image-based question. So here I can see it is elongated kind of PA. The nasal cavity is there. The condyles are visible. The skull vault is visible. And this is actually what ideal reverse downs will be. Open mouth, elongated PA. So in this, what you have to evaluate, see, I am seeing the skull also. So it is indicated for skull also. It is indicated for condylar region. It is indicated for nasal region and for this area, right? So I have to evaluate the calvarium. For calcifications, all the PA indications will come here. Midcranial fossa, petrous region, mastoid cells. So this area, right? So I can evaluate this area. Then nasal cavity, I've showed you, condyle. So these are the 4 things which you have to evaluate. Indications. Main indication is head and neck condyle. And I can visualize the condyle in posterior-anterior direction, right? And fractures of neck of condyle. So this is very important. Okay. Main indication, posterior-anterior direction of head of condyle and the neck of condyle. Then high fractures of condylar neck, definitely. And even I can see the articulating surfaces. Condyle is hyperplastic or hypoplastic, that also I can see. So most of the indications are related to condyle. But yes, the cranium, the nasal cavity, the mastoid areas, that also can be visualized. Okay. So forehead touch position, open mouth, canthometal line forming an angle of
25 to 30.
30 degrees. Central X-ray is directed where? At the level of?
Through the condyles.
Condyles. Okay. So this is reverse down. I have completed most of the extraoral views which are being asked. Lateral obliques are not asked, but I don't want I should miss it. I'll just tell you what are the main indications. Lateral obliques of mandible can be body if I want to see the body of the mandible, and lateral oblique can be ramus projection if I want to see the ramus. Indications are very easy because this is kind of that area only, so you can indicate. So here it is lateral projection. So can you see it is lateral oblique projection. Lateral ceph is a sagittal projection, true sagittal, and lateral oblique is a oblique projection. So you can see the head is tilted. The cassette is placed flat against the cheek. In the body, I have to center it in the molar premolar region. Lower border, can you see it is below the mandible? So how much? 2 centimeters below. Head is tilted towards the side being examined. If I want to see the left side, I will do it like this. Sorry, right. And if I want to see, I have to tilt it like this, right? Next, can you see the mandible is protruded, right? Head is tilted, mandible is protruded, head is tilted to the side being examined, the cassette is placed along the side being examined, flat against the cheek, right? So body projection. Central X-ray. So central X-ray is directed towards, it is a body, so means molar premolar projection. So central X-ray will be directed towards molar premolar region from the opposite side, opposite angle, right? 2 centimeters below the angle of opposite side. So you can see it clearly. The cassette is placed on this side, but the X-ray is directed from the opposite side, 2 centimeters below the angle, directed in the molar premolar region. So what you get? You get this kind of image. So can you see the body of the mandible? I can see whatever pathologies lies here. For example, here I can see condensing osteitis. I can see impacted molar with dilacerated roots, right? So all osteosclerosis here, right? So these are the things. Clear image of teeth, body, mandible should be obtained. And now the tilting has to be proper, right? You cannot tilt it more, you cannot tilt it less. If the head is tilted excessively, I will get distortion. And if I do not tilt it properly, my opposite side will superimpose, right? So head tilting has to be optimal. So can you see the body projection? Identify it. Similarly, you have indications. So indications are same. Whatever you can see, anything which you can see here is the indication. Mandible body, teeth in that area, ramus, angle of the mandible, any impactions, any lesions, right? So that is there. This was body projection. You have a similar ramus projection. Everything is same. Positioning is same. Head is tilted 2 centimeters below the cassette, same side. Only thing is central X-ray. So mandible is protruded. Central X-ray is directed 2 centimeters below from the inferior border of the mandible of the opposite side, but it is directed in the molar region, There it was directed in the premolar region. So the only difference is that you have just angulated the central X-ray slightly posteriorly. Okay, everything else remains same. So what you get? You get ramus. So this is lateral oblique ramus projection. Can you see the ramus? So can anyone tell me what will be the indication for this?
Horizontal, favorable or unfavorable.
TMJ.
Fractures, TMJ, condyle, ramus. Okay, so ये indications है. Impacted third molars, fractures extending to ramus of the mandible. Right? So I can see the third molars here also sometimes. So that is the indication. Okay. So last from extraoral is Townes projection, and then we have TMJ views. So coming to the Townes projection, structures shown. Now it is opposite to the reverse Townes. Where are we placing the film in the reverse Townes? Where are we placing the film? Front of the patient. Here it is opposite, right? So it is primarily used to observe the occipital area of the skull. So this area, if I want to see, then and the condyles also, right? Condyles can be viewed. So cassette is placed perpendicular to the floor in a cassette holding device and positioned vertically. I'll show you like this. Can you see this now? Where is the image receptor placed? Behind the patient. So is it a PA view or a AP view? Very good. So it is a anterior-posterior view. Till now, whatever views we did, which were frontal projections or coronal projections, were posterior-anterior views. So here the X-ray is directed from front and the image receptor is backwards, right? So what is the position? Central X-ray. This is the image receptor placed at the back. Central X-ray is directed 30 degree to the canthometal line, right? And it passes through the external auditory meatus. So this is the area, external auditory meatus. So 30 degree to canthometal line it will pass, okay? Through a point between the external auditory meatus. So I can see, imagine this is the external auditory meatus. So there will be a centering point and I will direct it such that it is 30 degree to the canthometal line. So what is the indication I've told you? It is basically occipital region. So this area, if I want to see the occipital areas, the parietal bone, this is the occipital bone, petrous ridge, right? And you can also see it is not covering the posterior. Sometimes you can see, if I place the film slightly upwards, downwards, I can also see the condylar area. So in this illustration, I can see the condyles, right? So this is that's why I told you that in Townes view, you can also see condyles, but main indication is occipital area, right? So this is Townes view, okay? Now I'll just show you the projections identified. Tell me what projection. What is this projection? PA skull, okay? What is this?
Jug handle view. Waters view.
Indications for Waters view?
Sinus, Clifford factor.
Sinus examination.
Good. Very good. So whatever I have told you, this is just the summary. Like this is the indication which is given and what view. For example, I tell you coronoid. Okay. Coronoid ke liye I have told you Waters view. And you can also go for lateral ramus projection. You can also see it, right? For example, condyle. Reverse Townes is main indication for condyle. Okay. Zygomatic arch, for example. So submental vertex, or to be more precise, jug handle view, right? So these are what mandibular body, lateral oblique, right? In OPG also you can do. Sphenoidal sinuses, submental vertex. Clear? Lateral cephmi, you can also see sphenoidal sinuses. So this is, I have already discussed this. You have to remember this. Now tell me this.
Outer canthus of eye.
Okay. Any doubts? He's correct. Outer canthus. कौन से size की image receptors we use for skull projections?
8 into 10.
8 by 10. 8 by 10 for Ceph. और जो oblique projections में we use 5 by 7. Okay. Condylar head and neck.
Reverse down.
Reverse Townes, what is the angulation for canthometal and image receptor?
25 to 30.
30 degrees.
3 degrees.
The angulation in submental vertex.
37.
37.
37 तो Waters view में था. 10 degrees. Zygomatic fractures, except ये neat question है.
Reverse.
Water.
Correct. Waters में दिख जाएगी.
हम पैनोग्राफिक में भी दिख जाएगा.
हाँ. Some amount, not superimposition होती है, but you can slightly see fracture. So reverse terms. So now we come to the TMJ views. Okay. See, this part I'm not covering. Advanced radiology, maybe a next session, I don't know. But I'll be covering extraoral projections in which submental vertex, reverse downs, OPG we have already done. So we are left with these three: transcranial, transpharyngeal, transorbital. Nobody is going to ask you position. What they are going to ask you is the indication. Now you will tell indication is TMJ only. So every view, like transcranial, pharyngeal, orbital, you can see condyle in a different direction, right? So that's what you have to know. Which will show you posterior anterior direction, which will show you medial pole, which will show you the lateral projection. So that is what you have to know. That's it. And you will not be asked more than that. Okay, I will tell you the positioning, but till now positioning there is no question. Indication there are lots of questions. So transcranial is a lateral projection. First of all, you have to remember sagittal view of condyle. So if I want to see the lateral condyle, I will go for transcranial view, lateral aspect of fossa, articular eminence and space. So cassette positioning is same as laterals, right? Lateral obliques. So cassette is placed flat against the patient, centered over the TMJ, parallel to the mid-sagittal plane, right? So the transcranial is an open and closed mouth positioning. So you have to take two views, one in closed mouth, one in open mouth. So that is why it is called as transcranial, right? So you have to take open and closed mouth and you will compare that when open, what happened to the condyle, okay? So closed mouth, open mouth. Central X-ray is directed where? So you can see image receptor positioning, I have told you already. This is the image receptor positioning. Now I have to center cranial, transcranial. So it has to be through cranial opposite side. Okay. Directed downwards from the opposite cranium. Clear? So what is the angulation? Above, this is the petrous temporal bone. So above the petrous temporal bone at an angle of 25 degrees. So from 25 degrees angulation, I will give a central X-ray directed over the opposite TMJ area, transcranial. So what will you get? See the radiograph. Closed, open. See this? Can you see why it is closed? Because the condyle is lying in the glenoid fossa. This is your articular eminence. So now when the open mouth is there, the condyle is translating. It is near the eminence. Clear hai sabko? So I can see the joint space, see the joint space. I can see the head of the condyles. I can see the shape of glenoid fossa. I can see how the condyle has translated, the shape of the condyle. So this is the information which I can get from transcranial. Lateral view of the condyle. Okay? The view is clear? Will you be able to identify?
Yes, ma'am.
Second is transpharyngeal. Positioning is same, but it is an open mouth. It is also called as McQueen's technique. You have to remember the other name. There will be a simple question. What is transpharyngeal called as? So this is infracranial or McQueen's technique. McQueen's technique. It is again a lateral projection, but it gives you a medial pole. So where do you see pharyngeal is in the mid? How can you remember pharynx is in the midline? So you can remember it will give me medial pole of the condyle. Clear? Open mouth. This is only open mouth. So condyles move away from the base of the skull near the eminence. So you can see them clearly. Medial view. Clear? So central X-ray is directed. So it is an infracranial. So it has to be below the cranium, right? So central X-ray is directed superiorly. How much? 5 degrees to the sigmoid notch, right? So 5 to 10 degrees to the sigmoid notch, and anteriorly 7 to 8 degrees. So if I talk about anteriorly, it is 5 to 8 degrees. And if I talk about superiorly, it is through the sigmoid notch, right? 5 to 10 degrees through the sigmoid notch of opposite side. So angulations you have to remember and indication. Simple. This is the radiograph which I get. It is an open mouth, so I can see the condyle has translated to the eminence. Okay. Occlusal plane should be parallel to the transverse axis. The patient is instructed to inhale through the nose, right? So that there is nasopharynx which is filled with air. Otherwise, I will get a complete shadow here. Okay. So medial pole, transpharyngeal. And what is the other name for transpharyngeal?
McQueen
McQueen
Bell
technique or infracranial.
Good. Now then is Zimmer's projection. So Zimmer's projection is transorbital. This is the least indicated. Nowadays, we are not using these projections. Only transcranial we do sometimes. Transorbital, transpharyngeal, we are not using. Transorbital, directly rays are going from the eyes. So we do not do this. But yes, for your MCQs, this might be asked. It is called a Zimmer's projection. So it is a frontal projection. Okay? This is a frontal projection. अभी तक जो हमने किया वो कौन से projections थे? दोनों? Lateral. This is a frontal projection. So as the name suggests, frontal, transorbital, so rays will pass through the orbit. Till now, the rays were coming from the opposite side. Now here, the rays will come on the same side of the TMJ being examined. Okay, so it is frontal TMJ projection. Although you can see joint very clearly in this, but it has some disadvantage, which I've told you. The articular surface, articular eminence can be seen. So you can see the film is positioned behind the patient's head, right? So it is a frontal projection. So rays will come from the front. Position behind the patient's head at an angle of perpendicular to the X-ray beam. So basically we are placing it 45 degrees. That is the angulation. So as I've told you, if I'm studying the right TMJ, the rays will also pass through the right TMJ or ipsilateral TMJ. So patient is positioned such that head is at 45 degree, that I have told you, to the plane, and the mouth should be wide open. So again, it is a open mouth condition, right? Open mouth, and you have to protrude the mandible. So central X-ray directed in the front of the patient through ipsilateral orbit, that I've told you. Point of entry is pupil or medial canthus, right? So 10 degrees angulation. Point of entry is medial canthus or pupil. So how you get the image? So you can get the image like this, right? So this is the image. So it is more clearer here. So I can see the poles. I can see the lateral pole and I can see the medial pole. So here it is, and I can see the condylar neck very clearly. So condylar neck fractures, I will go with transorbital. Mediolateral dimensions, I can easily measure whole of the mediolateral dimensions of the eminence. Condylar head, neck is visible. Morphology of the convex surface of the condylar head, right? And gross degenerative changes. So this is how it appears. Okay. So it is a frontal projection, and I can see the mediolateral dimensions of the condyle and eminence and condylar neck. Okay. I hope it is clear. So this is dentoalveolar. Lefort ke liye we will go for. What is the other name for occipitomental views?
Water swim.
Or paranasal sinus views, right? Lefort fractures may I told you Waters view key indications. Zygomatic complex fractures may you can go for occipitomental and 30 degree or submental vertex also. And nasoethmoidal complex ke liye occipitomental again. Waters. Okay. Condyle ke liye towns and reverse towns. OPG is there definitely. Ramus, body projection, lateral obliques. So you read it. I have already discussed it 2-3 times. Same thing. So how you have to remember this chapter is indication, what radiograph. Radiograph is given, what is the indication, and you have to identify the views. Okay. That is important. Okay. So I will just take one small topic before we go for a break. Just 20 minutes topic of